Hey Zach, are you getting used to the noise in the building and the fan base, and how cool was it to go out there and at the end of the game to light the beam with those guys?
It was really fun. Obviously, we didn't have the best show in the first game, and it's tough coming to a new team with everybody, and we're trying to figure it out on the fly. But we're pros. There's no excuse, and we know how tight the West is. So to come out here and have this performance after a slow first, it was great.
Obviously, shot a little bit better tonight at 50%. How much is it just getting these games under your belt to kind of get comfortability in the gym and kind of trying to get to where you normally are?
Yeah, I mean, you got to do whatever it takes to win. If that's shooting and getting close to your averages, or doing something defensively or getting assists, that doesn't matter to me right now. As long as we're starting to get better and get more cohesive and get some more wins, I'll be fine. I've been doing this long enough.
Zach, you guys had a 45-point quarter, and you held them to 22 points on the defensive end. What was going on with that, coming out of the halftime, being focused on that type of play?
Yeah, we didn't do a good job in the first unit to start the game. So to come out in the third quarter, those are some of the biggest moments to set the standard. And pretty much, flip the script on them. And I think we did a really good job of that, being more physical, getting downhill, and, you get stops, that's a lot easier.
Zach, you talked about becoming more cohesive. What's the process for that with a new group? Can you talk about stuff, or does it have to happen kind of on the floor, on the fly?
Yeah, you can talk about a lot, and you can watch film. I think plays will help when you watch film and guys are, doing their film work. But there's no supplement for experience, especially on the court with guys and seeing how they move, where they like the ball. All those nuances make a difference, especially with timing and things like that. So, we're getting it down, and you gotta do it on the fly, man. So we'll stick with it.
Zach, kind of along those lines, the win being one thing. Where are you seeing in the games that you've been here so far? I mean, that you guys are making kind of the biggest strides that would equal success down the road.
Defensively and in transition, we don't need to play. We have so many scorers and athletes and shooters. In transition, we're getting a lot of our makes there, and we're making up ground. So we need to figure out how to, make the game easier for us and get out and get those easier baskets, put pressure on the defense. In the half court, we'll figure that out. We got enough guys with experience that know how to handle the ball and play. But that takes more time. I think as long as we get out in transition, get easier shots, take what the defense is giving us, not make it hard, there's no help.
Zach, I know you've only spent 3 games together, but what do you make of Keon and the impact that he just makes in the second unit and the hustle he plays with?
Oh, I mean, big time. Yeah, some of the best hands in the NBA. He gets a lot of deflections and steals, energy, diving, and he's a hell of a shooter. I don't think he gets enough credit for how good of a shooter he is. He plays at the floor, so he was a big reason why we won tonight.
2 more.
Zach, 33 free throws for you guys tonight. Just how much do you think that can be a strength of this group, and how much does that help a team?
Helps a lot, especially, we know how well DeMar gets to the line. He's been famous for that. When Domas put pressure on the rim, when I get downhill and get to the rim, it makes the defense, react differently. So as long as we're aggressive, you might not get the foul calls each and every game, but you got to play consistently with yourself, and I think it'll happen more times than not.
Last one, Mark.
Zach, with being on a team with so many guys who could score the ball and do it in the clutch as well, when the game was tight in them last, final minute or so, what are those conversations like in the huddle?
I think it's a field thing. We have so many guys that's done it before and made big shots. Somebody might have it going. Somebody might be hot or have the right mismatch. We have to understand that it's not just going to be one guy each and every night. And the more we work through it, and we have games like this where we need to win games like that. That's how you win games in the NBA. Work through it, talk through it, and then also just recognize and be smart out there.
Thanks, everyone.
Hey Jake, the NBA is about opportunities, and it feels like you're getting like a fresh start and a fresh opportunity here. How cool was it to have that first experience with this crowd and the end of the game and all that stuff tonight?
Yeah, it was great. I love the environment here. Even since my rookie year when I've played here, it's always been like that. It's been loud, and I enjoy environments like these a lot. I'm just excited to be here. I'm grateful for this opportunity that Monty gave me, and just ready to, light more beams and get more wins.
Jake, over here. When you did enter the game, you got your quick couple baskets, you got a block, got a steal. You just mentioned it, you're out on the court about getting those winning plays. Is that something we're going to have to see a little bit more than that? Because that was great.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've said it since the beginning. Like that's what I'm bringing over here is those hustle plays, those winning plays, diving on the ground, getting steals, loose balls, rebounds offensively, stuff like that. That's kind of just what I do when I'm out there. So just playing hard, and you can expect that every game.
Jake, that you came in just with a kind of a flurry there, and the crowd, it did seem like really got behind you quickly. How endearing is that, and how did that feel for you to just get out there and be embraced that quickly?
Yeah, I'm glad I was able to make a statement. Obviously, I checked in the game and got that steal and that layup pretty quickly. But like I said, I'm excited to be here. I love that the crowd was, like you said, getting behind me, and I'm excited for more games.
Kind of an up and down defensive night for you guys. Just what do you see as the difference of when you were executing on that end versus not?
Yeah, I think in the first half we gave up their hot guys were making a lot of shots. And then second half, obviously, we upped the pressure a little bit. We corralled them a little bit better. We started blitzing and held them to less threes in that second half. So I thought we did a much better job in that second half than we did in the first.
Jake, I know it's just your first game with them, but yourself, Jonas, Keon, what do you think that second unit is capable of as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, kind of what we just did tonight, where that spark off the bench, if the starting unit, comes out maybe a little bit flat, maybe a little bit slow, or not, whether, regardless of how that starting unit comes out, I think this is a good bench to just come out there and bring that spark and defensively and offensively just keep things flowing.
So the start of the game, not really what we wanted. We have to figure out how to start a little bit closer to what we did in the third quarter. But the bench came in and gave us a huge boost, and part of it is just finding our way, and part of it is like learning how to play together at that high level without constantly digging a hole. And to these guys' credit, they continue to show fight, and we've won a bunch of these games, but it is not, we can't live off a steady diet of that. And I think that they understand that, but understanding it and finding a way to make sure that we have better starts is imperative. It's not even a negotiable. Happy with the 41 threes. That's a good number. 24 assists. We need to get that closer to 30. All in all, some good performances, but not satisfied. Yeah.
Doug, you talked pregame about it's a good problem to have, to find minutes for everybody. You were making sure to incorporate Keon there at the end, at times for Malik, at one point for DeRozan as well. Can you talk about that decision of when to implement him and the tough decision of who to take out?
Yeah, it's a tough decision, and they were being tough on me, which is like, I love their competitive spirit. And when I took Debo out, I was just like, just give me one possession, put Malik in, and then got Debo right back in when they called a timeout. He comes out and hits a bucket. Like, he's one of our closers. Especially on the offensive end, we have to have him in the game, but we have to figure out how to make sure that we are getting stops and rebounding the basketball. Because the most important thing is we win the game, and they all want to win the game. But you are correct; like it's a good problem to have. It's one that I will relish, and from time to time they will get upset with me, and I understand that. I love them all, but I love winning most. Yeah.
Coach DC, that 45 points in that third quarter was definitely significant, but Kings did have 19 rebounds, 3 steals, a couple block shots. You talk about the defense side of that third quarter.
Yeah, the ability to have active hands, be physical, make them feel us, touch the man, touch the ball, have a presence about yourself, and a resilience that just does not want them to do anything remotely close to how they started the game. Like it's it's the only way. Like if that's what we do for a whole game, the starters are probably sitting down in the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden guys are getting a chance to run that maybe don't always and find their rhythm. That's what we want. But when you start the game the way that we did, it's not good. It's just not good, and we have to be better. But that third quarter, I think, showed it's like, your kid, once they show you that they can make their bed and clean their room, it's like, oh, you showed me. You messed up now. Okay, so I'm going to need that. And that's what I pretty much said to him. It's like, that's great. You showed me that it's possible. Now we need to make it consistent.
Just to kind of piggyback off what Matt was saying, from about 4:30, 3:30 left in the game, looks like Malik came to the scores table a couple times and sat down.
Yeah.
Was the plan there for him to come in for Keon, or were you kind of just trying to scope it out at that moment?
No, he was coming in for Debo, but Debo made a shot. And, if Malik was in that position, Debo would be like, leave him in the game, because those are the type of guys that we got. They understand the game. When you start getting the game going, it's more about winning the game. So Malik was like, I'm good, D, and he went back. Now as that time started getting lower and lower, he's like, yo, and I get it. I love the competitive spirit that all of them bring. But that was kind of the rhythm of it, trying to see if he was going to get a game going. Once Debo got a game going, I mean, he's a closer of the highest regard, so we got to let him do his thing.
Doug, for whatever reason, the group that you have now in that second unit seem to be finding some sort of chemistry already. Just how impressed are you with LaRavia and what you're seeing from Jonas, and then how Trey and Keon are sort of fitting in alongside those guys?
Yeah, it's really good, to be honest with you, to be able to go to your bench and have production. And the production doesn't always need to be offensive, because that's not really there was some offense there, but like Jake immediately gets a steal. Like those are the things that we need when we go to the bench. Jonas's size, his rebounding, his rim protection, those are things that we need from our bench. And sometimes it'll be we're ahead, they keep the lead. Sometimes we're behind and they need to bring us back. And tonight it was the latter. But it's a really good thing when you look down there and you're like, oh, okay, come on in, as opposed to, oh boy, we're in trouble. Yeah.
Doug, I know you love the fans here, and you love the way the fans love the players here. To see these guys come in and just get huge ovations like right off the bat and be embraced like that, how good does that feel for you?
Man, it's these fans, man, you guys know what I want for them more than anything. If I could buy it, steal it, I would, because they deserve it. That's who they are. They support this team through the thick, thin, good, bad. They are here, and I respect that so much, because through my time, I've seen a lot of different things when it comes to fan bases, and this fan base has continued to support, and I love them for it. And I think that what these guys are going to come to understand is when it's time to put the show on, they're going to support them in a way that creates a home court advantage that will run some teams out of here. But the one thing that they always need to feel is when they walk into this arena, they need to know that win or lose, they're going to play their hearts out. And that's all I ask from them. All the rest, we'll make shots, we'll miss shots, sometimes we'll turn it over, there'll be a lot of different things. But the one thing that is a non-negotiable is how hard and how competitive we need to be for these fans every night.
Falling down 20 in the first half, just what did you see as the shortcomings there defensively, specifically defending the three, and how did they change in the second?
Trey Murphy is a heck of a player, man. But when we switch, which we call red, when that happens, you have to be physical. You can't point switch. That gives space. We don't want space. When I talked to you guys earlier, I want to close space. I want to close airspace. I want them to put the ball on the deck. And there were a couple of times when we read it and we were back free shot. He doesn't even see you. He's a little deeper than you might think he'll shoot it, and he shoots it. Like, these are things that we have to be better at, locked in, communicating at a really high level. In the first half, I think their hot guys were like 7 for 10. When I say hot guys, I'm talking CJ, Trey, and in the second half, they only hit 2. And I think that spoke to the level of aggressiveness and physicality and sense of urgency and all of the things that I require. And when they do it, things go better. And we have to make sure, though, that we start the game with that type of sense of urgency.